Hi, and welcome to my S4 League Railgunning guide. I'm going to start off by saying that this guide is mainly for beginners, so if you're already pretty good at sniping, there's probably not going to be a lot that you're going to learn, but you never know. So part 1 of this guide is basically going to have general tips and tricks that you would want to use while railgunning. I'm going to try and give you aiming advice as best I can, and there's also going to be a section for weapon setups that work well with the railgun. Okay, well, the first thing you're going to want to do is check out your options and change your mouse sensitivity. You're probably going to want to find something probably low. I'm going to suggest a lower sensitivity rather than up near 100. I have mine at 20, but I also have a high DPI mouse. I'm not really sure if that'll work for you, but I mean, fiddle around with it, find something you like, and you should probably keep that. Alright, useful tips. The first thing I'm going to talk about is basically easy kills. The first thing you'll notice when you start playing is plasma sword users have a really long pause after their melee dash. You're going to see as I repeat the motion over and over again that at the end of the dash I get stuck for a few seconds, and you make yourself really vulnerable for attacks. You're also going to notice while I do this stun jump, or the jumping stun attack, that I also have a pretty long pause at the end of it. Another easy target for you will be these anchor users. Basically, when they're looking at where they want to go and setting the anchor up, they're going to be stuck for another 2 seconds there. So it's imperative in Station 2 that you take down anchors. That's kind of your job. And you're pretty lucky because it'll be pretty easy for you to down anchors. Really all you have to do is shoot an uncharged shot at them and they'll go down. You don't even need to charge the shot up at all. It'll just cancel out their anchor. Alright, so right here is just a quick tip about reloading. You're going to just see me fire off all my shots, and then when I'm out of ammo, I'm going to cancel the reload animation after it's reloaded one bullet by switching to my second weapon and then switching back to my railgun so that I get my shots back. It's pretty helpful. Alright, the next thing I'm going to cover is wall sniping. The thing about wall sniping is that the community seems pretty split on it. Half the community will tell you that it's terrible, it makes you bad, only baddies use it, yada yada yada. The other half will tell you that, if you don't use it, you're terrible. So it's kind of half and half. What I'm going to tell you is that it's definitely necessary in some situations, especially with the railgun. If you don't use it, you're just going to get torn up by semi-rifles, especially in deathmatch games, and you're not going to be too much used to your team. If you do use it, however, you're not going to want to camp in one spot, and the other team will know where you are and be able to find you quickly or avoid you. If you do decide to wall snipe, basically how you do it is you prop your character up against the wall, so only your crosshair is hanging out, and you can hit anyone as long as your crosshair lights up as red, and they won't be able to see you for the most part, or it'll be pretty hard for them to aim at you if only your leg is sticking out or something. Okay, how to aim. There's really no right or wrong way to aim, but I'm just going to go over the 3 main techniques that I use to aim. The first technique being that it's 100% mouse control. You basically just point and shoot, and that's it. It's that simple. The second technique is more of you move your character to guide your crosshair to hit them instead of your mouse. And the third being a hybrid of the two, where you guide with your mouse and then you move your character to finish off the last tiny bit. Alright, well, all 3 methods are pretty useful. The first one's pretty useful for wall sniping and shooting stationary targets, especially for headshots. And the second 2 methods are really good for hitting moving targets or people jumping off walls and such. Alright, the next thing I want to talk about is the railgun delay. Basically, while you're aiming, you're going to have to learn how to deal with this delay because it's the hardest part about using the railgun. It's not even aiming that's hard, it's this part. Since there is a delay from the time you shoot to the time it hits the enemy, you're going to have to understand how your opponent's moving and kind of predict where they're going. Really, the only way that you can improve at predicting people is by playing them over and over again. The best way to get better is practicing. I mean, that's all it boils down to. Prediction is the hardest part about using a railgun, but it's not that hard once you get used to it. you just shoot a little bit ahead of wherever your opponent's at, and if you predicted them right, you'll score a kill. And before I move on to the next section, I just want to talk briefly about zooming. I do it a lot. Basically what you do is you just right click, and what you're doing is you make everything a lot larger, but they also move quicker on your screen. You also give up a lot of your field of vision, so you don't want to do it too much. But I do it. There's not really too much of a downside to doing it unless you stay zoomed and get killed by a melee or something. Alright, damage values. I'm not really going to go into too much detail about damage values. Really all you should know is that there are 3 main shots that you'll be using to one-shot people. The first one being a fully charged shot to the chest will in most cases kill them unless they have 30 plus HP or souped up gear. The second shot you're going to use is going to be a semi-charged shot to the head. This is going to be your most commonly used shot against stationary targets, and this pretty much 100% of the time will land you a kill. And the final shot that you're going to be using is going to be a completely uncharged shot to the back of the head. Will land you a kill most of the time as well. Situations that you would use this is when a melee user gets too close and they're in their melee pause. It's pretty effective then. Okay, weapon setups. For weapon setups, I really suggest you use whatever you feel comfortable with. I personally like to use weapons that can cover all of my ranges. So for medium range, I use an SMG. For close range, I use a revolver or a melee weapon. And obviously for long range, I use a railgun. Sentries are pretty useful as a sniper because most of the time you'll be playing on defense, so they'll be able to help your team out. Other than that, I really don't, there's not really a right or wrong answer for your weapon setup. Again, it's just whatever you feel most comfortable with. Okay, I'm going to talk about skills now. As far as sniping goes, there are 3 main skills that you would want to use. The first one being flying, the second one being wall or block, and the third one being 30 HP plus. Flying, honestly, for sniping is the best thing since sliced bread. I can't find a downside to using this skill while I snipe. It gives me better angles, it's easier to avoid melee, and it's awesome for sniping. So the next is block. Block is pretty good because it has some defensive values to it, and like I said before with the sentry gun, you're probably gonna be playing defense when you use a railgun. So it has its values there. Also, if you wall snipe a lot, it's pretty helpful. If you get stuck in the open, you can just pop this out and you have some cover. HP plus is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, it's just passive, you don't have to think about it. You just have that bonus HP there. It's always good to have that. You get more kills in.